Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Australian Indian Radio's daily Facebook Live update. Hey, 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 it's Friday, and it is a wonderful Friday out there as well. But how wonderful is it? Let's take a quick look at the weather with Dilraj.
Good morning, everyone. So the weather forecast for the rest of Friday is a maximum of 24, with showers tending to rain. The possible rainfall will be in between 8 to 15 mm. And Brisbane area is mostly cloudy with very high chances of rain, around 95%, and most likely late this afternoon and evening. Showers tending to rain in the evening and light winds becoming northeasterly 15 to 25 km per hour in the morning, then becoming light towards the evening. Fire danger is low to moderate, and sun protection is recommended from now till 2 p.m. UV index predicted is 5, that is moderate. As we are moving towards weekend, let's look into Saturday and Sunday weather. So on Saturday, the minimum temperature will be 15 and the maximum will be 25. Possible rainfall will be from 0 to 3 mm. And Brisbane area will be partly cloudy with medium chances of rain around 60%, most likely in the morning and afternoon. The chances of thunderstorm in the afternoon and evening and light winds are predicted. And on Sunday, the minimum will be 12 and the maximum will be 21. Brisbane area will be mostly sunny, winds westerly 20 to 30 km per hour, becoming light during the evening. Chances of rain are 0%. Sun protection is recommended from 9:40 am to 2 pm both on Saturday and Sunday, and UV index predicted is 5 for both Saturday and Sunday, that is moderate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dilraj. And so that's the weekend and the Friday weather for you there. As we know that this time of the year when the westerlies are coming here, so what does the westerlies mean for us? Well, the westerlies for us means that it's Eka time. That's right, it's Eka time. And yesterday we had quite a bit of glimpses from our office here, and what we could see was, as you can see from the window out there, that there was a lot of fireworks that we could see, and those scenes are right there from our office. So let's take a look at the fireworks as they happened, just a glimpse of that from our office. So the amazing fireworks to kick-start Eka. And isn't that wonderful? And well, if the Ekas started, so how did it all happen yesterday? Well, if we look at the opening, that normally we go and attend the opening ceremony, but the opening's taken place. So let's take a look at what happened at the opening.
Welcome to Eka 2020 online, presented by the RACQ. It's a great honour to join the RNA patron, His Excellency the Honourable Paul de Jersey AC, Governor of Queensland, for this virtual launch of Eka 2020. A reimagined version of our show, designed to keep the Eka spirit alive. It will bring you a taste of some of the Eka's unique traditions following the cancellation of this year's show due to COVID-19.
The Eka is a very special event for our state. It has been ever since the first Royal Queensland show was opened by Governor Sir William Cairns back in 1876. In its 144-year history, the Eka has so effectively brought the country to the city. In doing so, it has united more than 32 million Queenslanders who have passed through its gates. As our state's largest and most loved annual event, the Eka is a powerful shaper of the Queensland character. I am very proud as Governor to support it.
Only twice before in the Eka's 144-year history has the show been cancelled. Firstly in 1919 due to the Spanish influenza, then in 1942 due to World War II, and now in 2020. While the ECA can't go on in its normal format this year, ECA 2020 Online is all about paying tribute to the show. It's a virtual celebration of agriculture aiming to bring people together again, this time not in person but online. A 10-day digital program will showcase our farmers, fireworks, traditions, competitions, animals and entertainment in an exciting and interactive format. Our iconic Strawberry Sundays will also be available on grounds and at pop-up sites around Brisbane. Importantly, proceeds will aid research into COVID-19 for the Prince Charles Hospital Foundation.
As Governor and Patron, I congratulate the RNA and the entire show family for keeping the ECA spirit alive this year. I'm very proud to see so many ECA traditions retained despite the constrictions of the times. I have every confidence this year's ECA program will continue to evoke anticipation and excitement within our state. I therefore encourage all Queenslanders to show their support for the ECA 2020 program, which as Governor and Patron, I now have the very great honour of officially declaring open.
Thank you.
Enjoy this most special ECA.
Now let's take a closer look at ECA 2020 Online and how you can show your support this year. On behalf of the ECA family, thank you for your heartfelt support. We are delighted to be able to keep the ECA spirit alive this year. The show movement is so important to our communities. Thank you.
And as the saying goes, that the show must go on. And the show must go on, and this time it's online. Now that's a message there, and that's something for other organizers to take on board. That, you know, if you can't have the functions or events where people can actually come in, that's another way of holding the functions and events, is that, you know, going online and keeping that spirit alive there of ECA. There will be interactive online sessions that will happening, and as we know, the big fireworks happened yesterday, and of course from today till the 17th is all the online programs. So go online, check out all the things, and you know, take part. But don't miss those pop-up stands outside, and get your ice cream and your sundae and your dagood out there. So quite keeping up with the Australian tradition there. Well, right now, let's hear from our Prime Minister as he talks about this cyber security and the threat to cyber security and what measures have been put in for cyber security. And let's go to Canberra.
Strategy. But before we come to that, I'm sure you'll understand there are a range of issues I'd like to address. Firstly, regarding the situation in Victoria. I'd also like to touch on the issues in Beirut as well, before making some comments on the cyber security strategy and handing over to Peter to address those issues in more detail with you. I know there will be many Victorians at home today, and they will have joined us now, and I extend my greetings to you and my appreciation to all of you. What you're going through is tough. We're here to help you push through this in every single way that we possibly can. Over the course of this week, we've been responding to the changes that have been put in place by the Victorian Government to support them to ensure that we can make this work as best as we possibly can. Changes have been announced to the pandemic leave disaster payments, and there are about 2,000 calls that were received yesterday. And those payments for Australian citizens and residents are being made today, and the balance of those to short-term residents will be made later this evening and into tomorrow morning. We've acted on the childcare changes and are pleased with the response we've had from the childcare sector. There are obviously still issues regarding those who can access childcare. That's obviously a decision for the Victorian Premier, and and we will continue to make our representations on those issues. But the viability of childcare, the guarantee to the parents for their places, for the jobs in those facilities, and of course to ensure those facilities themselves continue and the services they provide will continue to be supported. Another very important area, though, is the mental health of Victorians as they're going through this very difficult period. Already, the Health Minister, Greg Hunt, on the weekend announced that we'd be providing additional mental health support. As I often do, I had the occasion to talk to Professor Pat McGorry as well, well known to Peter Dutton, during his time as Health Minister, and have listened carefully to his views, which I always find extremely helpful. Today I have asked the National Mental Health Commissioner, Christine Morgan, working together with Dr Ruth Vine, who's the Deputy Chief Medical Officer for Mental Health, to work closely with our Victorian counterparts on additional measures that may be needed to support Australians, particularly in Victoria, as they are working through the stress and anxiety and strain and the pressures that are upon them in their communities and in their households as they deal with these issues. I believe there will be further announcements made by the Victorian Government at some point regarding their support, and we strongly encourage that and welcome that and appreciate the engagement we've already had with the Victorian Government on those issues. But today, mental health and suicide prevention is one of my government's highest priorities. For Victorians, these last few weeks have been devastating, and the loss of freedom that comes from the first lockdown, now combined with the second one with the Victorian wave, not being able to connect with friends and loved ones, concerns about employment, all of this takes a toll. Young mums who won't be able to have access to childcare or have just gone through a long haul of homeschooling, now having to face another long haul of it. This will put incredible pressure on families, and particularly for families with children with disabilities. And it's important that we play our role to support each other. That's why I said the other day, if anyone around the country who knows a Victorian, get on the phone and encourage them and support them during this time of their need. I want to encourage people that help is available, and I encourage people to seek out that support through the many mechanisms that are there, and I'll come to those in a second. But this morning I'm announcing a further $5 million to support Headspace, $2 million to support Kids Helpline, $2.5 million to support Lifeline, and $2.5 million to support Beyond Blue. Specifically in Headspace, that is to increase outreach services to young people in the community who are in severe distress. This will particularly focus on Year 11 and Year 12 students, young people who have lost their jobs, and tertiary students. The funding will be used to recruit and to train additional outreach workers who will connect with young people in the community under supervision of the experienced Headspace staff. For those young people who are already connected to Headspace, the services have been there to support them, but there are many more who are seeking that, and the advice I have had is we need to build that capability to support more and more young people as they go through this time of stress.
So it is good to see that the Prime Minister's announced the support for young people there as well, because it is very important that we stay engaged with the young. And of course, he's making donations there to Beyond Blue and the other organizations, which is wonderful and very good to see. Well, right now, let's take a look at what our Premier had to say, especially to all the Melburnians and the Victorians.
Can I also do a big shout out to everyone in Victoria, and I just want to let everyone know, families down there, that Queensland's with you, and once you get through this, we hope that we can all be united again, and you'll be able to come up and enjoy Queensland, and likewise Queensland families can go back and be reunited with loved ones in Victoria. So it's a tough time at the moment. We are in a world pandemic. Things have changed dramatically, but we will get through this together. We will stay strong, and we'll work collectively to make sure that we all get through this.
And through this together, that's a heartfelt message there when she says that you will be able to come up to Queensland. There's so many Victorians and Melburnians who are at the moment feeling very, very stuck. And as the stage 4 restrictions come in place. There's so many lockdowns, so many factories will be closed, and there's a lot of uncertainty that's happening out there as well. But having a look at the border and how our border is being patrolled, the Premier was there, and let's have a quick look at what she had to say when she went out there to look at the border.
All right, good morning everybody. Beautiful day on the Gold Coast. Okay, so I can report overnight we've had 0 new cases. This is absolutely tremendous news, the sort of news we've been hoping and praying for, so thank you Queensland. And as Dr Young said, the next 4 days are still very crucial, and we want to make sure that people are out there getting tested. So if you are sick, stay at home and get tested. That is absolutely critical. And there have been, the last 24 hours, 14,600 tests that have been conducted. So once again, record testing levels that are happening. We'll update the media later on this afternoon about that 68-year-old woman. We're still checking her testing, and Dr Young will give us a report about that. This morning I had the opportunity to also go down to the borders, and can I first of all thank the police, the emergency services personnel down there. They are doing a terrific job. Every Queenslander should be proud of the work that they are doing to keep Queenslanders safe, and I could not commend them highly enough. It is tough work, it is busy work, but it is work that is necessary to keep Queensland safe. And of course, those tough new measures will come into place at 1 a.m. on Saturday morning. Well, today I'm very pleased to be joined with Minister Mark Bailey, Assistant Minister Megan Scanlon, and of course the wonderful Mayor of the Gold Coast, Tom Tate, where we are standing here at Broadbeach, the light rail station, and of course this light rail is going to extend down to Burleigh, and today I'm very pleased that with the cooperation of the Council, we are now...
And it's good to see Mark Bailey there as well, and Tom Tate is a good bloke. He's a really, really good bloke, Tom. And right now, we're coming to that part of the segment where we take a commercial break.
ग्लोबनेट रियलिटी 1989 से लेकर अब तक का विश्वसनीय और माननीय ब्रिस्बेन का रियल एस्टेट एजेंट है। उषा चंद्रा, जो कि ग्लोबनेट की डायरेक्टर है, अपने ग्राहकों को ईमानदार और एथिक सर्विसेज देती हैं। अगर आप ब्रिस्बेन की प्रॉपर्टी में पूंजी लगाना चाहते हैं और आप चाहते हैं कि आपकी प्रॉपर्टी को प्रोफेशनली मैनेज किया जाए, तो आप आज ही कांटेक्ट कीजिए उषा चंद्रा को। लैंडलाइन नंबर है 38654466 और मोबाइल नंबर है 0419775416। और आप प्रॉपर्टी की अधिक जानकारी और करंट अपडेट्स के लिए हमारी वेबसाइट पे लॉगिन कर सकते हैं। हमारी वेबसाइट है www.globnetreality.com.au। ग्लोबनेट रियलिटी आपका अपना लोकल रियल एस्टेट एजेंट है। हमारा पता है ग्लोबनेट रियलिटी, शॉप नंबर 5, 2281 सैंडगेट रोड, बुंदल, क्वींसलैंड। ग्लोबनेट रियलिटी, रियल एस्टेट इज आवर वर्ल्ड।
And it really is the world, and log on to their website to check out all the open houses that would be probably taking place in this weekend. Right now, let's move on to news in brief. And Prime Minister Morrison says that Victoria's lockdown will cost the economy about $10 to $12 billion.
We received further advice from the Treasury on the impact on the economy of additional Victorian restrictions. The additional restrictions announced by the Victorian Government on the 2nd and 3rd of August are tighter and extend for a longer period than assumed in the earlier estimates that were provided. Treasury has assessed the impact of these new restrictions and notes that there is a high degree of uncertainty in relation to any of these estimates, and these estimates will be further updated in the October budget. The additional restrictions in Victoria in August and September is estimated to reduce the size of the real economy, real GDP, in the September quarter by between $7 and $9 billion. This is a heavy blow, a heavy blow. 80% of this economic cost is...
And as he mentioned, it is a heavy blow. It is a very heavy when we look at what the forecast was initially and to where, and as these figures need to be adjusted as we go along. As Prime Minister mentioned there, that they are being adjusted because there is a lot of uncertainty out there and no one knows. But their job is to keep the economy going and keep people employed. There will be factories which will be locked down. So the JobKeeper, they reckon, will be extended till past September to qualifying businesses there in Victoria. Well, how many deaths and cases are there in Victoria at this point in time? Let's hear from Premier Daniel Andrews.
There are 13,469 cumulative cases of coronavirus in Victoria. That's 471 more than our last update. I'm saddened to have to report that the total number of fatalities due to this global pandemic is now 170 Victorians. That's 8 additional deaths since we last updated you. 2 men in their 60s, 3 men and 2 women in their 80s, and 1 woman in her 90s. 4 of those 8 cases are linked to aged care. In terms of testing, I'm afraid I don't have a total number today, but we are assured by the laboratories that we've done about 25,000 additional tests yesterday, and those numbers are of course reflected in terms of the positive case count that we've just given you. There are 107 additional mystery cases, 107 additional community transmissions. They won't be from today's data, and those cases that are under investigation, that'll lag behind a day or two, but that's from that coronavirus detective work that's been done from yesterday's numbers and the numbers the day before. The total active cases is 7,449, and the total active cases that have a link to aged care are 1,533, noting that is both residents and staff.
So those are the numbers there. And what are the numbers and what are the conditions out there in New South Wales? So let's hear from New South Wales and see, where they stand and where the numbers are at the moment.
Good morning. 12 new cases of COVID-19 were diagnosed in the 24 hours to 8 o'clock last night, bringing the total number of cases in New South Wales to 3,643. There were 28,035 reported tests yesterday, compared to 22,087 in the previous 24 hours. Of the 12 new cases reported to 8 o'clock last night, 2 are still under investigation, and 10 were locally acquired, linked to known cases. Of the 2 cases under investigation, one is a man in his 20s from Sydney LHD, and the other is a teenager from Newcastle. There are currently 104 COVID cases being treated by New South Wales Health, and there are 10 COVID patients in intensive care, including 4 being ventilated. 85% of cases are being treated by New South Wales Health who are in non-acute out-of-hospital care. New South Wales Health is advising the man from Sydney LHD who dined at Jamba African Restaurant in Glebe on the 31st of July from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Meaning anyone who attended at this time is a close contact and should immediately self-isolate until 14 days after they were last there and get tested even if they have no symptoms. And watch out for COVID symptoms and get retested should any of those recur. The man also visited a number of inner-city venues, and patrons of which are being classed as casual contacts. Casual contacts at these locations during the time and dates indicated should watch for COVID symptoms, and if symptoms occur, however mild, immediately get tested and self-isolate. These venues include the Everleigh Hotel at Redfern on the 31st of July from 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m, Warren View Hotel in Enmore from the 1st of August from 4 p.m. to 4:20 p.m, Mary's Underground in Sydney on the 1st of August from 6:45 p.m. to 7:15 p.m, Cubby's Kitchen in Sydney on 1st of August from 7:35 p.m. to 9:30 p.m, Borough Bar in Sydney on the 1st of August from 9:35 p.m. to 11:15 p.m, Woolworths Marrickville Metro on the 2nd of August from 7 p.m. to 7:20 p.m. New South Wales Health can advise the second new case is also under investigation and is a teenager from Newcastle who attended St Pius X High School while infectious. The school has been closed for cleaning and contact tracing is underway. Anyone who attended St Pius X High school on Monday, the 3rd of August, is urged to be on the lookout for COVID symptoms and get tested immediately should any restrict.
So as the message there is that if you were in contact with those, if anyone's been to those venues and anyone from that school, the contact tracing is taking place, and of course those are the figures that are coming out of New South Wales. So it's a tremendous just, keeping in touch and keeping trace of all these people. When you look at the first case that he was talking about, that's quite similar to the case that happened right here in Queensland when those two went about, and they seem to have gone to quite a lot of cafes, coffee places, and a lot of eateries and other things like that, similar to what this other gentleman did in Sydney. That's amazing to see that they visited so many different places when we're supposed to be in a lockdown, and you were supposed to stay at home and not go out to many places, or if you only go out for shopping if the need be, but you don't go to multiple venues like it's been stated in there. Well, such is the case, such is life, and life goes on. But not for many people in Beirut. I'm talking about, the deadly blast there, and our heart goes out to people who've lost their lives, to their families and friends there. Let's take a quick look, a satellite image of the port, which shows before and after images of the explosion. So you can see the scale of the damage. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in with Australian Indian Radio's daily Facebook Live update. And right now, we'll go and look at the health expert and workers who recommend the updated advice on the masks. What are the best ones and which ones are designed for hospital use, which are designed for general use. So, infectious disease expert Dr. Michelle Anand Raja says that the recommendation for health workers to wear surgical masks rather than the N95 respirators is based on outdated advice. Let's hear from her, Dr. Michelle Anand Raja.
This is a surgical mask, and this is a standard issue surgical mask that we use in hospital. The issue with the surgical mask is that it is actually not approved as respiratory protection. It was designed to prevent splash and splatter from the surgical field onto the face of the surgeon. And when you actually wear one of these masks, you get a lot of gaps around your face, right, from the side and underneath the chin. And essentially that then allows air to flow preferentially through those gaps and into the wearer and potentially infect the wearer. So, we have this recommendation from this national committee that surgical masks are appropriate. And this is based on really outdated information that this infection is spread by large droplets, when really there's now, I wouldn't even say compelling evidence, I would say clear evidence that it is spread also by the airborne route, which means that you've got fine aerosols in the air, and what you really need is one of these. All right, so this is what is called a respirator mask. This is my own supply, but it's very similar to what we have in hospitals without the valve. And essentially, it's a tight-fitting mask, okay? And it fits across the face and the nose, and it forms a tight seal, over the face and the nose. And that really does prevent the majority of these aerosols, if you like, from entering the wearer.
And so there you are, up to date on the right kind of masks to wear. Well, Premier Daniel Andrew outlined some of the changes in the meat, construction and warehouse industries. So let's hear from him what those changes might be.
Processing and abattoirs, that whole sector has been obviously very high risk. We've seen a number of outbreaks. We've seen some very real challenges in that industry. Off the back, and I thank that industry for a very productive way in which they've engaged with us and our public health team. And I can confirm that we will land final arrangements by midnight tomorrow night that will see red meat, so beef, lamb and indeed pork will go down to 66%, so 2/3 of their operation based on their operations last month, or based on their staff numbers over a 3-month continuous period at some other time in the year. So whilst they are down in terms of their total amount of work, they will be going down further to that 2/3 level. In terms of poultry, the difference in life cycle of those birds means that if you were to reduce down to that, say, 66% number, then there would be many hundreds of thousands of animals that were essentially destroyed but not processed, and that would lead, I think, to some very significant shortages of product. So they will be, by agreement, going down to an 80% level. We think that is the appropriate balance. All of these measures are about driving down the number of workers to the lowest number we can practically get to, whilst at the same time not delivering critical shortages of product. Therefore, there are balance points to be found, and we're confident that we have been able to do that. For seafood, those centres that are below 40 staff, these rules won't apply. We think it gets to a critical mass point if you start to try and reduce workforces in such small centres, and also for other abattoirs beyond seafood, so red meat particularly, if they have less than 25 employees, then we will not apply those 2/3 staff level rules, if you like. Moving to construction, this is a little bit simpler. In terms of construction, the settings that I had outlined will in fact be delivered. So if you look at very large government jobs, they're already at about 50%. We're aiming to drive that down across the entire portfolio, down to as close to 25% as we can get without compromising safety. And you would appreciate that if you're building hospitals or fitting out ICU wards, that's really important work, and perhaps never been more important than it is right now. There are a number of train lines that are closed at the moment, and in order to return them back to the public transport network, then obviously we need to get that job done. But we're going to try and deliver that 25% across the board, so as close as we possibly can to what we are asking of others. In terms of...
So there you are. That will be a tough balancing act to say which one is essential. Well, of course, he has outlined which ones will be, but once again, the construction industry, the meat industry, and the warehousing industry taking the branch there of the closes in Victoria. Well, right now, let's take a very quick look at the upcoming events and what's happening around. The Evening of Gratitude on 19th September. Once again, we are very proud to be supporting that. Online Hindu Dharma classes for children. Bala Sanskar Ken, they're always doing a wonderful job out there. The BSK Cricket Cup 2020. Gurdwara programs are happening, but please do check their websites and check with the authorities there before you go. Of course, we know the Gala Dinner and India Day Fair has been postponed until further notice. And the Indian Support Seva COVID-19 support is available, so you can register yourself out there. Mental health issues, the National Mental Health Month, which is in October. Please join them in for many of the online seminars that are happening right now as well, and that they will be happening throughout the year. There's so many different ambassadors who have come on board as well, and you can join the online seminars and take part in that. virtual Australian Multicultural Festival, similar to the ECA, which is happening right now. So do go onto ECA's website, check out all the online events that are happening, take part in the online ones as well. But if you're out and about, and if you can sport those pop-up events, do go there for your Sundays and goods. Vishnu Maya Mandir, Sri Krishna Janmashtami happening there as well. Vedanta Center, they are also running a number of online classes and courses, and of course discourses happening there as well. So please check the website and go online and join them with that as well. And today at 4, you can join us here. Suman Dua will be here right in this studio, and we'll be talking about the migration update. And she always has a wealth of knowledge on the topic, and she always discusses the current changes that have been put in place. And Young Sikh Professional Network's online CV checks, a wonderful job that they're doing out there as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's wonderful to have your company. Hey, it's always good to see you and joining in. And of course, all your comments are always welcome. Please share this link with others as well. And if you want to look at the past posts, you can go onto Australian Indian Radio's homepage, or you go onto our Facebook page and you can search some of the past events there as well, and you can go through and look at the streams there as well. And as we know, currently Krishna Janmashtami is happening, so let's take a little bit of glimpse of what happened last night at Vishnu Maya Mandir. This footage here is courtesy of Devika, and she is always very supportive and always sends in comments, and of course keeping tab on how we're going as well. And in this one you'll see the little one joining in as well. So wishing everyone all the very best for this weekend, and of course for Janmashtami. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I need to say goodbye, and I'm hoping to catch you up again at 4 p.m. today with the Migration ka Safar with Suman Dua, and of course tomorrow 10 a.m. once again with our daily life updates with the weekend special on Saturdays. Is that what we have? So once again, it's been wonderful. I'd like to see you all joining in on, of course, onto the ECA's online segments as well. There's so many different segments that are happening online, and some of them are in interactive as well. So please log on to ECA's website and go and look at some of those virtual functions and events that are happening, keeping the ECA spirit alive is courtesy of RACQ. And once again, it's been wonderful having your company. So until next time, it's goodbye from me.